After being downsized and reduced to working as a bicycle courier, Francois has dreams of winning the big race. Is it worth watching? Find out when I look at Breakaway on this week's Indy Christian Review. Warning, the following review contains horrendous butchering of South African names. Viewer forgiveness is requested. Times have been pretty tough these past few years, and not just here in the States. Even as far away as South Africa, they've been dealing with recessions. The movie Breakaway, produced by the team behind Faith Like Potatoes, is actually based on their own real-life experiences dealing with all this recession nonsense. The movie takes place in Cape Town, South Africa. It's about a man named Francois Fouché.
Francois Fouché.
Yeah, that guy. He's a former professional rugby player who's now working at a big marketing firm in Cape Town. That is, until he finds out that the company's gone bankrupt and he and his team have all been fired. And this is where Francois makes his first and perhaps biggest mistake. He's out of a job, right? You know, he's looking for a new one, he's looking and looking, he's traveling, he's going to meetings, he's making proposals, he's doing everything he can to get a new job. He's doing this for months. And he never tells his wife that he lost his job. You just don't do that, dude. I mean, 4 months of, going out and making your wife think you're actually out working and you're doing business trips and you're working late, and it's just not cool, dude. Just not cool. And when she does finally find out, he gets off easy. I mean, all she does is yell at him a little bit and go sulk for an afternoon before they patch things up. It could have been a lot worse for you, Francois, let me tell you.
Hey, Aunt Betsy, you know how I've been out working late the past few months? And, well, it's actually because I lost my job about 4 months ago, and I've been looking for a new one. I actually wasn't going to tell you till after I got the new job. Sorry, we're still good, right?
Uncle Bob?
Yeah?
You better start running.
After that crisis passes, Francois' brother Jean shows up. He's been in jail but has been released early for good behavior and is looking for a place to live. Francois and his wife agree to let him stay with them until he gets back on his feet. Francois gets a chance to give a proposal to another company, but the car breaks down before he even leaves.
Where's the battery?
Okay, now this is a character I can identify with. Wait. As Francois is praying for help, a bicyclist rides by, giving him a brilliant idea. He hops on his bike and makes it to the interview just in time. Now, as he's leaving afterward, he overhears the secretary arguing with the delivery service over a package that needs to be delivered in half an hour. Francois jumps at the chance. He takes the package and gets it delivered on time despite being on a bike. This inspires Francois to start his own delivery service to bring him money while he keeps trying to find his big break back into the marketing world. But his life changes when he meets the owner of a bike shop named Eli, who becomes Francois' mentor both in cycling and spiritually. Francois is eventually inspired to enter a really big race, the name of which I'm not even going to try to pronounce, but the problem is that Francois is a little too old to really be getting into pro cycling.
Too old to begin the training.
Through all the difficulties and setbacks that Francois faces, he really learns a valuable lesson of learning how to trust God. That lesson is embodied in the story of Jesus feeding the multitude with the 5 loaves and 2 fish. Take what you have, no matter how little it is, give it to God, and let Him multiply it for His glory. Now, reading the press release that I got with my copy of the movie, turns out that the filmmakers actually learned that lesson while they were making the movie. They had next to nothing and still were able to give it to God and let Him use it to make a very inspiring movie. This movie really spoke to me personally because I found my own circumstances mirrored by the story of the characters and also the story of the filmmakers. Like Francois, I lost my real job and had to find another way of making a living. Now, 4.5 years later, I'm self-employed, making movies, commercials, and web series. So I could really relate to Francois' struggle to find work and provide for his family because I know how hard it is to make a living these days. And hearing the crew's story inspired me as a filmmaker to trust God to get stories told no matter how much or how little I have. But enough about me. Sure, the movie's inspiring, but is it a cinematic masterpiece? Well, not really. There are weaknesses in the writing and how some of the scenes were set up. As a producer, I could see where their low budget affected some of the decisions they made and how some of the scenes were set up. The dialogue has some forced moments, and the movie does drag a bit in the middle. And one element that I found distracting just because I'm not a fan of the style is the overuse of montages. There were a lot of song breaks in this movie, almost to the point where I felt like I was watching a series of music videos. The whole CCM driven montage style has never really grown on me, so when I see a movie that uses it a lot, it's distracting. The acting's also hit and miss. I don't know if they filmed in order or not, but it seemed like the actors became more comfortable as the movie went on. Either that or I just got used to it, I'm not sure. I will warn you that if you have a hard time with accents, you might have difficulty understanding some of the dialogue. I'm pretty good with accents, but even I had a hard time understanding what was being said at times. Visually, the movie's pretty good. Again, there were parts where the low budget was pretty obvious to me, but overall it's pretty good. So Breakaway has its weaknesses, but it's still a really good movie and a really well told story. Again, I found it inspiring, and if you've been having struggles because of the economy, definitely check this out because I think it'll give you a good pick-me-up. Breakaway is definitely worth watching and I highly recommend it. And that's all the time we have. Thank you for watching Indy Christian Review. I'm the Storyteller, and I'll see you next time.